signify by saying yea or yes. Tim Lovelace,
Yes.
Luann Wallace,
Yes.
Carl Ray,
Yes.
David Eaton,
Yes.
Steve Breeding,
Yes.
Forrest Christian,
Yes.
Rebecca Dye.
Yes.
Ma'am, you have approval to return to regular session.
Thank you. All right, the first thing we have now is our invocation, and remain standing for the pledge, please. Thank you, dear Lord, for giving us another day. Thank you for the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us. Please, God, help us through this trying time. Watch over the folks of our county, that we are not sick and their loved ones are not sick. Help us to do the business of the county to the best of our knowledge. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, our first item is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So move, Madam Chair.
Steve, second.
Second.
Tim, all right. Roll call. Mr. Christian?
Yeah.
You approve the agenda?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Carl?
Yes.
Lou? Yes. David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Rebecca? Yes. Approval of their agenda tonight. The first item is the public hearing for our Russell County fiscal year budget 2021. This was approved at our January meeting as our schedule. We did have one meeting with all the county agencies, all of our constitutional officers. Unfortunately, we have, and all board members have been given the budget. It has not changed any from last year, simply because the governor rescinded what he had stated, so we are right back where we have been. At this time, we'll open it up to the public if anyone is in the lobby that wants to speak on our budget. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on our budget at this time. Thank you. Okay, is that correct, since no one's here?
But would there be any calling?
Any comments, any call-ins? Lonzo, is that, are they trying to call in?
No, that's the, of course, go ahead and give the same on both screens.
Okay.
I have a
Any
question.
comment? Okay.
Now, when the legislature goes back in, is this likely to change? Is the governor likely to change, or is he adamantly said, this is it, this is what it's going to be?
For the meetings, the type of meetings that.
For our budget? No, our budget,
Budget.
budget. So basically, we're looking at last year's budget is where we're at right now. Was that likely to change after this, after we go back to work and the governor looks at this and that? And, I mean, we're running out of time.
Absolutely. And that's a good question. The budget committee, Russell County Budget Committee, had already had a budget almost complete at the time. And what the governor had did after the COVID incident started, he went back to the table with the legislators to look at the budget. So every number that had been given to us up to this date have been reversed or terminated. And he's, the ones that have been submitted again since the legislation last week, we've only gotten a couple of the numbers. We do not have all the numbers from the governor through the budget yet to be able to go final. We will take those numbers that he has rearranged and redone because of the COVID incident, and this will come into the budget. This first public hearing was an opportunity for the Russell County citizens to be able to speak on what their needs was, not set the budget or set the template.
Has the treasurer, have you all seen a variance and reduction in revenue coming into the county?
We have seen a variance of the revenue coming in because one of the methods that we're using right now, you can pay online through the phone or through the Dropbox. The revenue is, of course, the sales tax has dropped, the other ones have dropped, even the state has also slowed down on some of their payments. So right now with Russell County maintaining what it has and the way we have financially, we're taking it week by week until the governor has everything in place.
How will the federal stimulus, if it comes down to municipalities and counties, how will that impact it? Will it give you, have you heard from that resource as far as what that stimulus could be and how much? Or is it something that is based on the revenue lost? Because, I mean,
Based on what
it's
the
like
governor
you're in a
says.
catch-22 here, trying to pass a budget, and you don't know all these variances of what you're gonna lose and the funding you're gonna receive. That puts you at a real disadvantage to know where you're gonna be.
And that's a very good question. Right now, what the state of Virginia has approved and the federal government has approved is reimbursement for what costs the county incurs to operate and sustain the COVID incident, the pandemic. That is the only thing that is approved. I know that the federal legislators, the U.S. and the state are trying to get subsidies or financial support to the localities in the states, but that phase of the project has not been approved. Currently, right now, the governor's budget in reserves, they have over $2 billion sitting in reserves in the state of Virginia. Now, they are holding on to it until October or throughout this time to see how everybody fires out. Now, other counties have already, and we have two included, we're already estimating on what our shortfall is. So until we get the numbers from the governor that he can guarantee, can we make a projection what the shortfall is going to be?
I would imagine some of those revenues, state revenues, are in jeopardy, aren't they?
Some of the state and their revenues in jeopardy.
So we
We've
really,
already seen it.
we don't know. We can't put a budget together until the governor gives us some firm numbers.
That's why we're based on going on last year.
Of-
Surely there's a
I don't even know if
shortfall
that's any good. though.
from your tax amount that you received last year to this year with this business shutdown. Look, surely there's a shortfall in comparison to last year to this point now.
And it is. And now, currently what we see coming through, there's 43 different line items that come through
Yeah.
federal and state and grants. And actually, from the sales tax, we're already starting to see a drop in it because a lot of businesses are not open. Those pass-through sales tax dollars and public service dollars are coming up short. But the governor, in his line items of the 43 that he will be covering, that is not covered by the feds, he's going to have to guarantee those numbers, and those numbers we have not seen yet.
Let me ask you one more question. From this perspective on the machine and tool, if you have businesses that are shut down, are they required, as a shutdown operational business, are they required to pay machine and tool tax? I mean, or any taxes related to equipment tax or anything like that? I mean, or is that just that many months that they don't consider personal property?
And that's also another good question. One of the things about machine and tool and what we're seeing on it is now on the machine and tool. Luckily, Russell County's being very fortunate. The big companies that are here that within the county are still operating. The Northrop Grumman is still there. The CGI is still working.
Right.
The Polycat, Samuel Specials are still working. Gen Chem is still working.
Right.
These are still working. These are the big top payers of the machine and tool. They are still operating. The tax does not depend whether they're operating. Now, the ones that have personal property, that's still liable for.
Yeah.
The added
The end of
equipment
the
at
year
the end.
thing, yeah.
Yes,
It's gonna be tough on them.
gonna be tough. Any other questions?
Thank you, ma'am, I appreciate it.
Okay, anybody else, any other please? All right, next item is the, new business approval of our minutes. It's for, the April sixth, which was our regular board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Steve, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Oris, all right. Let's vote, roll call. All those in favor? Oris?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Lou? Yes. David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Rebecca? Yes. All right. Next one is our minutes of the special called April 28th, which was the approval of our 21st century grants to the school and the county. Do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
David, do I have a second?
Second.
Carl? All right. All those in favor? Oris?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Lou? Yes. David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And Rebecca? Yes. All right, our next item is the approval of our expenditures for payment. Do I have a motion to pay our bills?
Make a motion, we approve our bills.
Steve, do we have a second?
Second.
Lou? All right. All those in favor, let's start with our roll call. Oris? Carl?
Yes.
Lou? Yes. David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And Rebecca? Yes. We'll pay our bills. Citizens comment period. This is Russell County citizens can comment by a call-in phone. It is just like being at, here at a board meeting. I see,
Kelly, I
Kelly McBride with the, public library. So if you state your name, your concern, and Kelly, go ahead. The floor is yours. Wait a minute. Wait.
Put it on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Kelly McBride Delph, Russell County Public Library, resident, Castlewood, Virginia. My question or concern about the budget is we're sort of rolling with a level funding at this point because, as you said, we don't know. But based on the loss of tax revenue, should we assume that we will be getting less money than we did last year? I've looked at the tax revenue projections and, don't see how we are likely to not lose something. And I just wondered so that we can, as we plan and the library board goes forward with their,
We'll let you know.
planning.
Well, we're going to hope for the best, Kelly, but we really honestly can't give you an answer. Sorry.
Thank you.
All right. I don't see any more. All right, we'll close our citizens comment period. No one's calling in? No other comments? Constitutional officers, reports and requests. All right. County attorney reports and requests.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Can't hear you, dear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
It must be
Better.
just low. Better. Heard that.
Things stuck here.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. The first thing I have, Madam Chair, is the continuity of government emergency ordinance that the board passed at the April meeting. For that ordinance, and that's the ordinance that we're proceeding under right now, to have our meetings and the guidelines and how to do our public hearings. For that ordinance to continue, you would have to have a public hearing on that, which you would need to set, and it has to be done within 60 days of passing the emergency ordinance for it to be valid. I know you may very well decide at the June meeting that you don't need to proceed with that anymore, and you may, but my advice would be go ahead and set the public hearing for that, to decide if you want that emergency ordinance to continue, because, again, there are a lot of unknowns right now, so, and I don't know, I think, there's possible that there can be some easing in guidelines, but I don't know that the social distancing will ease the restrictions so much that, we would be able to have a normal crowd in here. So I would definitely still set a public hearing on that, and then you could decide at that time if you want to continue it. The ordinance, if passed at this public hearing, would only be good for 6 months, and that 6 months would have started in April. You would still definitely be in the timelines to pass it within the 60 days on June the 1st. But I do think it's something that you should go ahead and set, and then at that time, if you decide that the ordinance is not needed, then you don't have to extend it. It'll just cease to exist.
You'd like for us to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion for a public hearing for our continuity of government emergency ordinance? Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Carl, you can use my wording. A second?
I'll second it.
Lou, thank you. All right, we'll start. All in favor? Oris? Public hearing in our June meeting.
I guess.
Okay, Carl?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Rebecca? Yes. So June meeting, we'll have that for our continuity. All right, thank you.
Thank you. The next item is the courthouse project management services contract. The board had previously approved hiring Skanska. However, they submitted a written contract, which I have reviewed. I did ask them to make one change, and I think Lonzo has given you the corrected copy that Curtis sent me. The only change I requested to be made was there in the section regarding dispute resolution. There was 2 different provisions on what law would apply, and I asked that he change that to just that the contract would be construed in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth, and he did make that change. So I do think that contract is sufficient or good, and I would be asking you all to approve that tonight so he could continue his work with the consulting process and get the RFP drafted.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve this contract service?
So move, Madam Chair.
Steve, a second?
Second.
Okay. Lou, I'll let David have the next one. How's that? You let it. All right, all those in favor of this? Oris?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Rebecca? Yes. So we'll all be in favor to support this contract and move up forward.
The next item is the Cumberland Plateau Waste Management Authority User Agreement. Toby Edwards did provide that to me on Thursday, and he did request to see if I could get it before you all today. I was unable to review that because there was a couple of drafts that went back and forth. I think Toby sent one, and then Lee sent one, and so understanding that it'll be at least to the end of the month before Dickinson County can approve theirs, I would prefer to have more time before you all approve that, and would ask you to just take that up at the June meeting.
We'll just table it till you can review it then, till our June meeting. All right, thank you.
And on the personnel policy, I did another pretty thorough, after the personnel policy committee met, I did another review and made and Lonzo and Vicky had made changes from that committee meeting, and so then I did another review of it, and there was several more changes that I made. I feel pretty good about this one, but I know you all got it late in the month, so I would just suggest waiting till June to take that up so you all can have time to review and make and suggest any changes for me. Again, this is a really, really comprehensive document, and it takes a long time to go through, and pretty much any time you read it, you're going to find something. So, I mean, I would like one more chance to review it too once you all suggest any changes.
So you'd like to table it again also till June meeting?
Yes.
And if anybody has any suggestions or comments, please don't hesitate to call Katie and let her know how you feel about it, okay?
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we have our county administrators' reports and requests.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First up on the county administrator reports and requests is the Russell County landfill number 258 and 515 groundwater / gas closures. These are these are the well and gas probes abandonment that we had at the landfill that we were maintaining and paying an annual service fee for testing and watering it through the engineering firm. And based off the age of the landfill and the amount of gas that we were obtaining from it, it was more beneficial and cost effective to close these wells down. So we worked with the Cumberland Plateau Waste Management Authority with the landfill and had these gas wells closed. That way we can discontinue the annual cost and the maintenance and the regulatory requirements on these wells. As the board can see, the closure report, which includes all the gas wells, both on number 258 and 515. That means that we have closed out all of our gas wells at the landfill at this point. Next on the county administrator request is the Cumberland Plateau Planning Grant for the Cleveland Sewer Treatment Plant upgrade. This we will need a motion on. Again, this is a grant for the town of Cleveland to be able to do a feasibility and engineering study on the current condition of the Cleveland sewer treatment plant, the town of Cleveland. And this is, the county will only be a financial fiduciary on this. It's still within the town of Cleveland's responsibility. So, and the Cumberland Plateau Planning District will be the administrator. I need a motion for the planning grant and the engineering study for the town of Cleveland sewer treatment plant.
All right, do we have a motion for this?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion we approve this planning grant pending the final legal review and approval by our council.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Boris?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Lou?
We didn't have discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. If you want discussion, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I apologize for not catching that before you started the vote. But basically, I just wanted the opportunity to tell the public that this is a state of an emergency, so to speak, for the town of Cleveland, and raw sewage is flowing into the Clinch River. And it is going to be quite an expensive little adventure if it's determined. But my point that I'm making right now concerning this vote is I would rather see the documentation before the planning grant is submitted. So I'm going to vote no on that.
No. David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Rebecca? Yes. Until it gets planned. This is all it is a planning grant. All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on the county administrator request is the Virginia Tech. This is through the Community Design Assistance Center. This is a letter of confirmation for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA Brownsfield Assessment Grant. It says, to the Russell County Board of Supervisors, please accept this letter as confirmation that the Russell County Board of Supervisors understands that the Community Design Assistance Center at Virginia Tech received a grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Brownfield's Assessment Grant Program to assess communities in Southwest Virginia, assess and develop conceptual designs for the redevelopment of potential contaminated sites. As a community selected to receive these services, we understand that there is no charge for the services and no cash match or in-kind requirement on part of the Russell County Board of Supervisors. We also understand that our obligation will be to establish a stakeholder committee comprised of the appropriate officials that will be provide input to help to develop the design, concept, and serve as a voice for the community. This is a grant that will be looking at the disposal waste area that's in the Brownsfield area, that the land that we're looking at to the Dane area to replace the Hamlin trash site. So I need a letter, I need approval of a motion for the acceptance of this grant. Again, there is no in-kind, there's no match, and it's 100% grant through the Virginia Tech Community Design Assistance Center. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Do
I'd
we-
like to offer up a motion to approve a letter being sent to the Virginia Tech Community Design Assistance Center accepting the proposal presented.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Now, you say this is going to replace the Hamlin site?
Yes.
This is going to look at the feasibility of replacing the Hamlin site within that area. And
Now, that's the one down near the railroad, down there,
That
right,
is-
right in
that is-
Hamlin, right before you cross the bridge.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I get, that's as central as any area, I guess. You know.
that is, that location, it is, since the closure of Wise County's, Honey Branch, we've incurred a lot of upload into the, volume in that area. One, number two is the location where it sits off the railroad right-of-way in between VDOT's right-of-way is a very narrow stretch of piece of property. So to give us flexibility and grow in that area, Virginia Tech has volunteered to do the design on this and look at it.
This will be a manned site, right?
This will be a manned site.
Yeah, we need to get to those as soon as we can.
If I may further that just a little bit, this is only a conceptual design. This will work with the stakeholders, and they have suggested the stakeholders, which will be the county administrator and Brian Ferguson, who is over the waste management, and myself as district supervisor and the landowner. So this is not a done deal. This is a Brownsfield grant. We do think the site will qualify, but it will have to have some, other things will have to happen in order to make this work for the community at large.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor of accepting and writing this letter of, commitment to this? Oris,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and Rebecca, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on the county administrator request is the Russell County Sheriff and the Washington County Sheriff Mutual Aid and Cooperation Agreement for law enforcement services. This is an agreement from 2020 to 2023. It is a request for a review and approval on the certification mutual aid and cooperation agreement between the law enforcement services between the two counties from the years of 2020 to 2023. A motion for approval.
All right, do we
Make-
have a motion for the Washington County and Russell County Sheriff's Office to have a mutual aid
Make a
aid
motion,
agreement?
make a motion, we approve this.
All right, Steve, do we have a second?
Second.
Tim? Any discussion?
Just one comment.
Yep.
In this mutual aid, can we share speed trap funding on John Douglas? Just thought I'd ask.
Ask.
Cause there you go, Madam Chair, you're exactly right. I think at their $1 million a year budget, maybe they could share the wealth a little bit. But no, I'll move on.
All right, all those in favor of this agreement? Oris,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and Rebecca, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on the county administrator reports and request is the Cumberland Plateau Regional Housing Authority. This is the 5-year action plan and annual environmental review. This is a just approval for their submission for their waiver for the review for their annual review through the environmental for their housing projects, which is in the board packet.
Wait, you skipped one. You skipped with the Buchanan County. 4,
I'm sorry. Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
mutual aid.
Sorry about that. I'm working up paper back here.
Make a motion, we approve the mutual aid agreement between the Russell County Sheriff's Department and the Buchanan County Sheriff's Department.
Second.
Second, David.
Thank you, Steve.
Any discussion? All right, we'll vote. All those in favor of the mutual aid agreement between Russell County and Buchanan County? Oris,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Becca, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now to the Cumberland Plateau Regional Housing Authority 5-year action plan and annual and environmental review plan. This is a submission by the the Cumberland Plateau Housing Authority for their annual environmental review plan. I need a motion for approval.
Do we have a motion to approve their 5-year plan?
I'll make a motion that we approve their 5-year plan.
Second,
Second.
Steve, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of the plan with the Cumberland Plateau, their planning review of 5 years? Oris,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and Rebecca, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on the county administrator reports and request is the Lebanon Elementary school wall repair project. The Board of Supervisors and the Russell County School Board evaluated the RFPs. We had already brought this up for approval before, and it's already been before the board. This is the actual contract that for y'all's approval for submission to the contractor to proceed with a notice. The terms and conditions are within the contract. The contract was awarded to Ken's Construction, and he's getting ready to start immediately on the work on the repair wall. Any questions?
I do, Madam Chair. Their structural engineer that has looked at that, what kind of report have they brought back?
Right now, on one of the requirements out of both the Russell County Board and the Russell County School Board was the plans have been approved by a professional engineer and a structural engineer. That was one of the terms and conditions within the contract. So it is structurally sound. It is within. They will be given monthly engineering reports through the PE and the structural engineer on phase by phase on this project.
So when they looked at the project as a whole, they didn't find anything that was abnormal that anybody should be concerned about as a change order or anything like that for structural purposes?
No, and actually no. And right now, as the engineers just went back, the structural engineers and the PEs have went back just to take a second look at to make sure that their evaluation was correct on the submission, and that has been approved and signed by DR Price.
Thank you.
You say DR Price is the engineering company?
Yes, sir.
I thought they specialized in surveying and stuff like that. Donnie's worked for them, and I don't know if they've ever done any structural like that, engineering work.
They have a structural engineer on staff.
Yes, they have a structural engineer on staff. They have a
The
PE
guy that
structural-
took his
They
PE
have
exam, took
someone
it in
working
structural.
in their office.
I'm sorry.
I said they've had someone in the Price's office, or it's Baltic now, they certified to do that.
He is a structural engineer. Yes, sir.
And what was his name? I didn't get that.
I'm sorry. His name is. I'm sorry. Yes, Steve Maxfield.
Okay.
He is certified instructional engineer from
So-
Virginia Tech.
Okay, well, we need to make sure that Steve Maxfield takes care of our school children then. We just want to make sure it's done right. Thank you.
And one of the things that the Board of Supervisors to make sure that we not only had the structural engineer and the PE sign off on the plans and do the second evaluation, we also requested in the contract that with each month, within each submission of percentage of completion, an engineer report on the current structure and the phases will be included. Yes, ma'am. approval upon review.
Yeah.
I'll make the
David,
motion,
Based upon.
based on the legal review,
All right, do we have a second?
Second,
exactly what she said.
second
Okay,
what
a
she said.
second, Steve. All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? Oris? Go ahead.
Lonzo, when we went out there and viewed that and everything, didn't you say some contractor estimated like 160-some thousand up to maybe 312,000 or something like that? To do, that's before y'all got up in the attic and everything and saw that?
That is correct. When they first started looking at it, they didn't know how pervasive it was from the floor, from the foundation up into the roof structures, and the linear footage on it. It was more pervasive all along the wall than they had anticipated. After we cut the hose into the ceiling to be able to look all the way down through the structure, to be able to tie it in soundly from one section to the other section, to make sure from a structural engineering perspective and evaluation, it needed to be tied in all the way down and rebuilt from more of a linear footage than what we were seeing just by taking an eyeball look at it.
Did any of them give you an idea how that moved out? You know what I mean? There's no broken seams in the joints of the mortar between the brick, but yet that moved out like that, 2.5, 3 inches in that center part.
And since this has started in part of the structural engineers, they have looked at the foundation. The foundation is solid, the roof is solid. They looked at the original plans of the school and the tie-ins and the rest. There was a lot of things that they're speculating that was not done during the first phase of construction. So that's where they're going back in and tying it in all the way from beginning to end on where it has the structure has what they call it has weakened. So to get it to make sure and to ensure that the 11 elementary students have a safe facility, they're actually going beyond the point of the breakage to make sure that we tie it in from end to end.
Are they doing anything to the foundation? Where they going to start from, come up? Are they going to reinforce that, or?
The foundation will be reinforced. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, any other comments? Any other discussion? All right, Oris, you were in favor?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes,
Tim?
Yes.
Rebecca? Yes.
Thank you. Next on the county administrator reports and request is the Honaker property transfer public hearing. We had talked about this in previous board meeting, and this is just a request to put it on for the June board. That way we have to have a public hearing on it before we can transfer the property.
I'll make a motion.
David, second.
second,
Steve, any discussion? All right, yes, we want to put this on our June meeting for a public hearing to transfer this property at Honaker High School. Oris, you in favor?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Steve?
yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Rebecca? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes the county administrator reports and requests.
All right, at this time, any matters presented before the board? David?
No, ma'am.
Steve?
I listened to the governor today, and he is saying that the 15th of May is tentatively going to be the day that we're going to go into phase 1 of getting back to work. And I just think that we ought to make our citizens and businesses aware of this and plan for that. And the question was asked, is it likely to be moved, further on down the road? And he said right now he was pretty much set on the 15th unless something desperate changes. So, and I think we need in the worst way to get back to work. So I don't know what the proper procedure would be, Lonzo, is to just maybe put out a notice that, tentatively, and maybe we ought to look at what his proposals, he had a list, that's probably posted by now, what the items, what you had to do. I think you were gonna be a minimized, you weren't gonna be able to operate at 100% capacity, but I think we ought to make that available to our people now and just have them getting geared up, you know, for the 15th. I don't know if it's 25. I didn't see that. It wasn't today. I mean, that's,
I saw it when they were doing it on TV.
yeah.
25%.
Well, I'd hope it'd be more than that, but if you could look and check on his website and see what those conditions are, and we can make it available to our people so they can start to get ready to do that.
Yeah, I will. The the governor, he will do another executive order on this one if he moves on it, and we will get the details. Now, what the governor does during his daily review, just like the federals, like President Trump does, they go over it, but they hit on the high spots, but not the fine detail. His
Well, yeah,
executive
this was not just a daily briefing. This was, he extended 53 to the 14th.
53 to the.
That was a
Yes,
special,
yes, sir.
yeah, so this, yeah, the 3 phases. Phase 1 starts on the 15th as it is right now, unless something drastically changes. So we just need to be prepared, is all I'm saying.
Yes, sir. And we have, myself and the Constitution officers in the courts have already been discussing this concept. We were anticipating this coming, so one, we'll go ahead and put it out on our websites and our media sites what the public to do, but in the background, the Constitution officers and the other county agencies are already anticipating this move, so we've been planning on this. So we got to do it, but do it safely for the county residents to be able to do. And we've been putting things in place for separation. We've been putting in lines. We're putting in drop boxes. We've got the hours set up. We've got the gloves and the face mask to where we can continue our operations.
I think Jess Powers has been doing a good job of going on the radio with all that information, informing all the residents of the county on a daily or weekly, or, I mean, I know I listen to him daily, continually on giving that information out to our citizens. I think it's a good idea in correspondence probably with the county administrator, to be able to be that informed to the people and citizens of the county and kind of give them all the heads up information.
Absolutely. One of the things that, I hear from the Virginia Department of Health and, the partners in this and Ballot Health, Russell County Board of Supervisors was one of the first counties in Southwest Virginia to implement the Declaration of Emergency to start the planning on this. And currently, right now, you can tell by our number of cases that we have, this is not by accident. The separation went into place, the agencies went into place, the localities went into place, our first responders, and the numbers show it. Even though we're in Southwest Virginia, we have neighboring counties, and I ain't gonna call them by name, they're in a higher count of number of cases. Some of them has had fatalities, but Russell County doing this at the beginning, and that came from Dr. Cantrell, we know that this had an impact on our reduced numbers.
All right, Tim, do you have any comment?
No, ma'am.
Oris, have any comment? Okay, Carl?
No, ma'am.
You want- Okay, Carl?
No, ma'am, I have nothing further.
Lou?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, our next board meeting will be June the 4th at 5 o'clock here for, I guess, executive session if we have anything. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
David, a second?
Second.
Carl?
June the 1st.
June 1st?
Yeah, it's June 1st and Monday, yeah. You knew that right off, didn't you?
I can't read my own telephone. Sorry. I didn't swipe it hard enough, boys. All right, June the 1st. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? I got it. Okay, now let's vote. I'm sorry. Oris,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
and David.
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Rebecca, yes. Yep,